Hi guys, Jake here at DMAX Store, and we've got Tom over at SSBC Brakes today. So we're going to ask him a couple questions now that we're at SEMA. So first off, where are your guys' brakes manufactured and made?
So SSBC USA is the only 100% made in America calipers. Not only are our materials obtained from America, but we machine most of these parts in our shop just outside of Buffalo, New York. And we also make sure that all of our seals, pistons, everything else is made within 15 miles of our shop, again, just outside of Buffalo, New York. We go to great lengths. Even our hardware is special ordered from an American-made factory in Connecticut. And if we can't make it in our own shop, we try to buy it locally. If we can't buy it locally, we try to buy it nationally. And unfortunately, if we can't get it nationally, then we have to go overseas. Yeah. But that is an absolute last resort. So this is 100% American-made. The aluminum is made in Indianapolis. The stainless is made in Ohio. And like I said, the hardware in Connecticut, and then everything else is manufactured in Elma, New York.
Oh, that is really awesome to see. I mean, we really like to promote American manufacturing when we can, as much as we can. And knowing that these are 100% made in the USA with all USA source parts, which I didn't know before this, that is awesome. So super stoked on that. Another thing I wanted to ask is, what's the R&D process like when you guys are developing a new SKU?
So we have about a 3-month cycle from when we decide. We'll have a phase 0. We'll look at what products our customers are demanding. We'll look at the feasibility of going to market with that. Is it a big pool that we can share from? And then from the day we say go, it's typically 90 days to both design the caliper, then digitally stress and strain it. We run it through all sorts of tests digitally first to make sure it's going to work. And then we try to get data from SEMA data source, or we bring in a vehicle and we do a bunch of fit-ups, and then we'll actually prototype it in metal, in 6061 aluminum. Then we take it out to our parking lot and we beat the crap out of it and see how it performs versus the OEM specs. And then we'll put it into production 90 days after we give it the green light to design. So.
Cool, that's really awesome to see. I mean, I love seeing people just design everything in-house, test everything in-house. Seeing that you guys are using advanced systems like digitally stress testing everything is huge to make sure that there's not going to be any failure points, especially on something as important as brakes. I mean, that's huge. And I mean, we have a few of these sets on our trucks and been super pleased with them so far. Especially 2020 and newer Duramax platform, the factory brakes are just kind of lackluster. And this seems to be the #1 solution that we have found to absolutely increase the braking power. Can you tell us a little bit about how these are better than the OEM brakes?
Well, we try to maximize the master cylinder output, so we will actually go with larger piston area than the OEM. We go with a fixed configuration, meaning there's pistons on either side of the rotor. Again, we live outside of Buffalo, New York, and they salt the roads in the winter, so if you have a 2-piston floating caliper, the sliders eventually stop sliding, and that causes all sorts of problems. You don't have that problem with a fixed caliper, so, but it is a much larger caliper, so sometimes the challenge is actually getting all of this mass inside a wheel, and that's where we have to do our design work ahead of time. But then after we maximize the push from the master cylinder, we look at the biggest pad that we can put behind here. And that's frankly why we go with 8 pistons, is we have such a large pad that we want pistons behind the whole pad all the way through. So we typically go over at least 15 to 25% larger pad than the OEM design.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see 8 pistons versus the 2 that comes with factory, and it's even going to be more reliable, especially in those corrosive environments. So that's huge. And then with those pads, so you include a larger pad than the OEM one. And what kind of materials are you guys using for the pads that you include?
We've, after a lot of testing, most of the time we go with a nice semi-metallic pad. We were toying with ceramics, but they're kind of loud and they don't work as well when you're not warmed up. So the truck guys especially really seem to like the semi-metallic.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, thank you for watching this interview with SSBC Brakes. Really awesome to support American-made manufacturing. If you guys are looking to upgrade the brakes on your Duramax, go to dmaxstore.com.